My name is Paul D'Elia. I am a Vietnam veteran and the co-founder of the Memorial Day Foundation. The foundation's mission is to increase awareness and respect for Memorial Day through public displays of remembrance, and also to protect, preserve, and promote our nation's war memorials. Today, I would like to talk to you about war memorials. There is a strong connection between Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and the nation's war memorials. War memorials function virtually as surrogate graves for those who more often than not died far from home and frequently on foreign soil. They are permanent reminders of the steep price our nation has paid to preserve our security and freedom. They also have an ability to transcend time, outlasting those with a living connection to the wars. Their ultimate power is to honor and remind us of the people and events that have helped shape our common history. Our war memorials provide places of solace and contemplation. Many may be appreciated for their aesthetic and symbolic value, apart from their commemorative purpose. Often crafted by leading artists of their day, these war memorials soothe the psyche and feed the soul. At their best, and when most effective, they connect to a community and cause its citizens to reflect on something larger than themselves. These war memorials have, in large part, not been sponsored by government, but instead created by citizens' initiative and commissioned through private contributions. This process has caused communities to have a stake in their local memorials, and many were dedicated with great pageantry before crowds of enormous size. Though those honored may have lost their lives far from their community, the effect of their loss has brought grief to all classes, ethnicities, and nationalities, forming a common bond between the citizenry. In modern times, the main intent of war memorials is not to glorify war, but to honor those who have died. The stark simplicity of an honor roll plaque listing the names of the fallen local heroes can have an effect on the viewer with a power equal to a more complex and awe-inspiring memorial. They may also serve as a focal point of increasing understanding between enemies, the way the USS Arizona Memorial does. It is visited by large contingents of Japanese tourists every year since the end of World War II. They gain an understanding of us not only as a former enemy, but as a people. A war memorial can be an entire building or just a simple plaque as mentioned before. Many war memorials take the form of a monument or a statue and serve as a meeting place for Memorial Day and Veterans Day service. Our very own New York City Veterans Day Parade begins at the Eternal Light Memorial flagpole on 25th Street and Fifth Avenue. The flagpole supports a star-shaped light at the top of the pole, which is intended to be lit at all times as an eternal tribute to those who made the supreme sacrifice. This memorial, like most memorials, are often found near the center of town or contained in a park or a plaza to allow easy public access. Some war memorials are dedicated to a specific battle or war, while others are more general in nature. Many war memorials have epitaphs related to the unit or battle or war that they commemorate. My favorite, which adorns the Grand Army of the Republic Memorial in Washington, D.C., is "Who knew no glory, but his country's good." Our war memorials reveal the spirit of those who served and allow us to understand the heartache of giving and taking away that our liberty has always exacted. Among the first deeds that were memorialized in our nation was for the 250 soldiers out of 400 of the Maryland Battalion killed in their legendary stand at Old Gowanus here in Brooklyn in 1776. At the approach of the massed British ranks against the Continental Army, the Maryland Battalion assaulted again and again into the British guns, teaching them that Americans were willing to fight fanatically and die in mass for their belief in a right to be free. This assault gave George Washington time to evacuate the Continental Army out of Brooklyn and to escape to Manhattan to fight another day. This is a photograph of that memorial, and in those days it was simply an inscription. As a nation, we didn't get around to memorializing Washington's Battle of Brooklyn until the late 1800s. It is not uncommon to wait for seeking the spirit and form of a memorial. But in the case of a young America, perhaps not only time was needed, but also the national confidence that building memorials requires. It seems at first we hardly knew what our American form of remembrance was supposed to be. And even when we were pretty cautious about raising the money for them. These are traits that may be just as true of us today, as suggested by the long wait for the national memorials to World War II and Korea. Neither dedicated until 50 or more years had passed after the end of both wars, and both memorials paid for mostly by private contributions. The delay in recalling our heroes and wartime sacrifices thus seems to have roots in who we've always been. To start with, for a long time, America was not a very self-conscious nation. We had the demeanor of a young country, founded by people wary of public ostentation, opposed to the raising of idols, and governed by habits of religious and social conservatism. Founding fathers themselves were famously reticent about writing the history they had made, and we would soon become known as a people eager to get on to the next thing, which, as we all know, is fundamentally about remaking ourselves anew. At the close of the Revolutionary War, America was also a wounded country. The nation was all but bankrupt. Continental Army and local militias had been quickly disbanded. This was long after Congress, on January 25th, 1776, approved the establishment of a memorial to General Richard Montgomery. Montgomery was a major general in the Continental Army and was killed at the Battle of Quebec City. He was the first officer to give his life to the Revolution. This memorial was the nation's first official war memorial, and it was installed in St. Paul's Church in Lower Manhattan in 1777 and is still there today. This is a photograph of that memorial. Again, an inscription on a stone honoring General Montgomery. It was not until the early 1800s that our first notion of a local memorial tradition appeared. Patriots at Concord and Lexington put up a granite block near the site where they and their brethren had stood and fought. After the Revolutionary War, we raised almost nothing to our heroes or the common soldiers. This suggested that we were far from embracing or even aspiring to our own history. Most of the Revolutionary War memorials were built in the late 1800s. There was a reason for this. The Civil War changed America's attitude towards memorials. The country had never seen such a slaughter on an unimagined scale in which thousands fell in hours. Sharp contrast to a long delay after the Revolutionary War. The close of the Civil War brought an outpouring of memorials in every town and city in America. The country raised statues and monuments to the Civil War for decades, and some of our greatest memorials at that. Think of the Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn and how magnificent it is. Only the onset of World War I brought them to a halt. This is a photograph of the Grand Army Plaza Civil War Memorial. If you notice that it is a great splendor and a magnificent memorial. The memorials to the boys who went over there are unprecedented in number and beauty. September 1919 saw the dedication of one of the country's first memorials to our doughboys. It was first known as Brooklyn's Altar of Peace, better known today as the Angel of Death. It consists of a bronze statue of a veiled angel of death gripping a mortally wounded doughboy holding a broken rifle. Alongside the statues are bronze tablets with more than 2,800 names of the men from Brooklyn who had lost their lives in the Great War. For its dedication, 250 Gold Star mothers marched along with 15,000 others, including several hundred Civil War veterans. During the ceremony, all of the names of the dead were read, and to each one a flower was placed in the front of the memorial. This is a photograph of the statue of the veiled angel of death holding the doughboy with a broken rifle, which indicates that he is out of the battle and no longer alive. This is a photograph of the entire memorial. Certainly a beautiful memorial, great splendor and beautiful background in and around the memorial itself. Shortly thereafter, in 1921, the country dedicated the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. What made this National War Memorial so sacred is that no general or special hero rests here, but an ordinary soldier who had given his last full measure of devotion. The tomb of the unknown soldier remains an enduring symbol of the sacrifices we are willing to make for our freedom and liberty. As for World War II, years after the war became the onset of a long pause and decline in our tradition of remembrance, and not just in the small number of tributes that the nation erected to our World War II veterans, but also in their reduced beauty and scale. One of the first large monuments to them appeared in 1963 when the National East Coast Memorial, located at Battery Park, was dedicated. As previously said, the nation would wait 50 or more years before our World War II veterans were given a place in Washington, D.C. to honor their deeds. The same would be said for the Korean War veterans. The photograph of the East Coast Memorial, as you can see, it is reduced in its splendor and beauty. It is kind of stark and barren. As for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, its construction marks Vietnam Veterans Memorial in almost every state in the Union. And while the National Memorial was highly controversial because it was designed by a Chinese-American woman, was installed below ground, was black in color, and has no military markings to indicate it is a war memorial. Nevertheless, it has become the nation's most visited and honored memorial, and the reason I believe that this is so, because of its simplicity in the listing of the 58,000 names of our war dead, that has had a tremendous emotional impact on all of us. The photograph of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial at Washington. While the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is the most famous memorial, one of the most famous memorials in our country, many other war memorials are forgotten or neglected. The Memorial Day Foundation wants to change this, not only for the good of our memorials and Memorial Day, but for the good of our country. The foundation has created the National War Memorial Registry, a computer program to record every war memorial in America. The registry will hold a photograph of each memorial and list some basic information, such as the memorial's name, the war memorial it commemorated, the location, city, and state. We intend to record every war memorial, no matter how large or how small. We are especially looking for those private memorials at schools, churches, post office locations, veterans posts, and military bases. The key to our success is to invite the public to photograph and contribute their local memorials to the registry. To do this, we've created an app on our website that allows the public to upload photographs of memorials and their information right to the website using smartphones, tablets, and cameras. With the help of the public, recording every war memorial in America is within our reach. Now, why is this project so important? First, you can visit our nation's war memorials from the comfort of your home. Second, we can preserve their images forever. Third, they are a lesson in sacrifice for future generations. So we encourage everyone to join us with your cameras, smartphones, or tablets and record any memorial that you see. Then you can upload these images to our website at nationalwarmemorialregistry.org. Finally, our nation's war memorials are the key to maintaining a living tradition of memory and remembrance about the cost of war, the courage of those who go down to it, and the sacrifices they make in the name of the United States of America. Thank you.